You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include environmental collapse, climate change, apocalypse, vast bodies of water, monsters and monstrosity, hunting and predation, blood, fantasy violence, animal extinction, harm to animals, guns as weaponry, grief, and death of loved ones. Arc 4, Episode 7. Invert My Name. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Before the dust took Keseki, and oblivion opened a single staring eye upon that black mirror we call the sky, the Kagayaku Ocean teemed with life. Abalone and giant worms, briarfish and full rays, sleek-bodied taru with their razor fins and broad balloon mouths, neon sharks and cawing gulls. Phosphorescent anemone waggled translucent tendrils upon rows and rows of glowing coral, while fishing boats and transport ships trawled the surface of this sunken realm. Deep within Han'ei Cove, in the abyssal muck of the ocean floor, naiadic siphonophores wriggled through muck and silt, dragging webbed feelers across slick rock walls. Spiderfish scuttled past. Sea skates glided on oblong wings. Pulsing sponges and boneless jellies nestled in mossy crevices, sifting through cloudy sediment in search of plankton and shrimp, stunning their prey with venom, or light, or vibration. Amid this tangled, breathing web of life, the monster hatched. Her head emerged first, pushing through an amniotic sac. Next to her, clinging to the walls of this air pocket, she could feel her siblings stir. Dozens of them, hundreds of them, all pushing and thrashing just like her, eager to get their first breath of ocean air. One by one, the hatchlings dropped into the waters of Han'ei Cove, pushing their newly formed fins against the deep sea current. There was so much to feel, so much to sense. The pressure against their tails, the vibrations on their whiskers, the scent of blood and warmth and life. On the first day of their lives, the hatchlings were barely the size of a pearl. They hid within the lettuce-like folds of electric coral, their mucus-slick scales shielding them from the deadly current. Together with her siblings, the monster fed on barnacles and isopods, relishing the salty crunch of shell beneath gummy mandibles not yet old enough to sprout fangs. At night, they hunted. When day came, they retreated deep into the tunnels, surfacing briefly to drink stagnant air within the rocky womb from which they were hatched. They nuzzled each other, exchanging knowledge and sensation and warnings through their whisker song. When a snapjaw kara or bull crab or other predator lumbered by, they hid in the coral or rock or shadow. When they could not hide, they swarmed as one, rushing in all directions to confuse and disorient. Days turned to weeks. Weeks turned to months. The hatchlings grew and grew until they no longer needed the coral, until they no longer fit inside the cracks. Their fins grew hard and sharp. Their teeth came in. Their subcutaneous sensors grew stronger and denser. They became independent from each other, each claiming their own tunnel, their own current. But still, they communed, sharing knowledge through tremor and whisker song. Knowledge of hunting grounds, knowledge of dangers. Until the great danger came. The drying, the surface trouble. The monsters retreated deeper and deeper into the cove, hiding in the safety of the deepest water. They found each other again, in a way they had not since they were hatchlings, and they swarmed to protect themselves, to protect each other. But the swarming was not enough. The whisker song was not enough. The water kept drying. The prey became scarce. The emptiness came. And eventually the tunnels themselves began to change. One by one, the dryness took them. One by one, they turned to dust. One by one, the whisker song grew quiet, until only a single voice remained, singing into the long dark, waiting for a response that would never come. Xainan and Seir. The monster that hulks at the entrance to this cavern is not a fish. It is not a snake. It is not a reptile or a toad or a leopard. It is something between all of these things and something utterly beyond. Pale flesh stretches across a torpedo-like body. A towering sail juts from its back, ridged with spurs of cartilage and bone. A long, thick tail thrashes behind it. Pectoral fins extend from a muscular chest ending in claws, each the size of your forearm. And its head is massive, wider than Seir's chest, with an open, yawning mouth lined with black gums bristling with razor-sharp protrusions. Thick whiskers sprout from the sides of its predatory snout, a snout marred with a barely healed scar that cuts across an eyeless face down to snarling lips. The only color on its pale skin are swirling black splotches just beneath the surface. These splotches move and shimmer like oil over water, like living ink injected into synthetic membrane, a constantly shifting Rorschach test. Xainan and Seir, you have jolted awake from one nightmare into another. The gossamer strands of your turbulent subconscious still cling to your waking minds, blurring the line between the sleeping world and reality. As you come into the wet, guttering, chittering of this monster, with the absence of your chronologist still humming in the air like a ticking clock, what instinct rushes over you? Let's start with Seir.
It is an instinct of immediate protectiveness. It is jolting awake, feeling the arrow still buried into his head from his mentor, and there is a moment where Seir feels almost instantaneously his blood run hot when it's pumping, full of adrenaline, full of awareness, sharpness. Not a motion that would happen, a sensation that would happen when you just wake up, but the torment from before, the imprisonment of the red wire, and the... Did she wake me up? Whatever just occurred in that nightmare, Seir cannot deny, keeps him sharp as he jolts awake, and Ewing her were close to his side, just watching Lumièra vanish as he reaches out and a hand to her. She is swallowed up by that strange, shadowy visage that seems familiar. Shadowy, glitching fangs on the other side of his neck. Lumièra! And crouches low, arm close to where Yinghe's broken arm side is, so they're able to lift themselves up with the space created by Seir, as his arm also gestures for the handle of patience.
As you throw your hand out, Yinghe is also stumbling to his feet, and you feel the leather wrap of that heft land solidly into your palm as Yinghe hands patience back over to you. On that motion of patience returning to your grip, we pan across to find Xainan. What instinct is rushing over you?
You can just hear the dream, that biting wind, and the hatred inside of it, almost wearing down his soul. And then Lumièra is gone, and there is a nightmare around him again. This fucking planet, the dust that hates him. And there is no consideration, there is no pause. The first thing Xainan Esch does is raise his rifle against the monster. And nothing stops him when he fires.
Okay, unflinching, not hesitating at all, you lift that rifle, that scope up, and you squeeze the trigger. Seir, you see this flash of violence, this motion on your periphery as you see Xainan just without question, without anything at all, shoot this creature. Do you leap into action to support Xainan, or do you hold back in this moment?
I have to. There's a moment where Seir had in many shutters in his mind, little doors of opportunities, of choices to make, where he's nestled and crouched right by Yinghe, feels the leather strap against his palm, and the hammered moon necklace dangles from his neck, and it jingles like rusted bells of an abandoned forest shrine. And he thinks of this creature, what will it do, what it might do. He feels almost like the hand of Artemis by him as he is leaning on her lessons, how to read, how to move in this moment. Before he could even ask that question, before he could look properly at the shape of this creature, this sound from the side of Seir's head, and he has to leap into action. We see Seir immediately leap forward without thinking, without considering, because violence has already been wrought. That opportunity has gone. Now is only the time to act.
Okay, so we're gonna get into combat now. Force of Extinction has special combat mechanics. We caught a glimpse of these when Xainan was punctured by a tongue of bone, but now we have the chance to learn these rules in earnest. In this game, combat begins when an attack occurs. In this case, Xainan shooting his gun. The attacker is known as the predator, and their target is known as the prey. The predator and the predator's allies always get to go first, and then the prey gets to act. When a player makes an attack roll, they build a pool of d20s as normal, just like you're making a skill check, and you add one for a situational advantage, help from an ally, or if you're leveraging a relevant tool or power. If you are using a weapon as part of your attack roll, you can also add your special weapon die to the pool. And the size of this die is not a d20, it ranges from a d20 to a d6. Finally, the player can burn resources to add an additional d20 to the pool. Unlike a skill check, you cannot burn 3 resources to secure a hit on an enemy. You have to roll dice to attack. Each time a player removes a hit point, loses a hit point, or watches an ally die, they gain a resource known as an adrenaline die. This is an extra d20 that you can add to any action you make. Adrenaline dice expire when combat ends, so you have to use them or lose them. After rolling your pool of dice, the player looks for the lowest result in that pool. That becomes the adversary's threshold. The adversary then has to roll their own pool of dice. If all results are higher than the threshold, then the player's attack succeeds and you remove a hit point. If even a single result is equal to or lower than the threshold, then the player's attack misses. When an adversary makes an attack roll, they roll a predetermined pool of adversary dice that only myself as the GM knows the size and number of. The lowest result then becomes the player's threshold. You will build a pool of dice as established, but you can't use your weapon die to defend yourself. If all of your results are higher than the threshold, then the adversary's attack succeeds and you lose a hit point. If even a single result is equal to or lower than the threshold, then the attack misses. Remember, every single creature on Keseki, whether mortal or monster, has 3 hit points. Their toughness is measured by how difficult it is for them to hurt you, or be hurt by you. So with that out of the way, let's get into combat. Xainan, you are the predator here. We are making our first combat roll from a player. You do not have situational advantage. You are not getting direct assistance from another character. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
I don't think so.
Okay. You are using your weapon. What is your weapon die?
It's a D10 for my single action rifle.
Okay, would you like to burn any resources?
I don't think he has time. I genuinely think this is a wake up, see it, react.
Shoot. Perfect. So roll me 1d20 and 1d10 and tell me your lowest roll.
How's 2 1s do you?
What the hell? Are you serious? Okay, so I have to beat a 1 or you shoot this thing. I'm now gonna roll their dice. Okay. That's a 5. That is a 4. That is a 4. That is a 4. That is a 7. You succeed. You succeed. Xainan, where are you aiming?
I think his instinct is to go for the head. A lot of things, at least use that as a primary driver in some way, even if it's not where their vital things are.
Okay. Perfect. So this creature actually has a special feature where you notice as you shoot the gun, the bullet spirals outward and it connects kind of between where its eyes would be, but it doesn't have eyes on its face. And you notice an interesting reaction occur upon the moment of impact. Its scales, so pale that you didn't notice that they existed at first. At first, it just looked like it was made of skin, but you see scales now rippling outward like linked chainmail armor, absorbing the impact of that bullet. But it's not enough. The shot is so true that it kind of goes through a crack between the scales and like just goes right into its head. You don't see an exit wound, however. And from where the bullet entered its head, you see like a black blood spurt out and start to spill down its face, running down the crevices of that old half-healed scar tissue, mangling its face all the way down to its jaws. And it kind of like wrenches its body backward, thrashing its head in pain. It's gonna lose a hit point. And Xainan, you are going to gain an adrenaline die because you removed something's hit point. Seir, you have leapt into action, but you're watching this unfold. You notice something that is particularly illuminated by Yinghe's reaction to what Xainan had done. In the moment, at the same time as Xainan pulled the trigger, Yinghe had let out a, "Wait, I think," but then the bang went off. And Seir, you notice that this creature, it specifically had not attacked your party. It was Xainan that attacked first. It had entered, let out a kind of throwing its kind of eyeless head in either direction. It had sensed your group's presence, but it had not immediately leapt to attack you. Well, until now. Now it's reeling from the below, and so are the rest of you, because Xainan, you have fired a gun inside a chamber, inside an enclosed space. And the sound of the bullet going off is loud. There's a second, it's like a bomb going off right next to you. There's a boom as it reverberates off of the walls of this cavern, and all of you feel your ears start to ring. And this creature in particular seems to react very strongly to sound and vibration. We see the Rorschach like splotches on its pale body, like fizzle, like ferrous liquid reacting to vibration. If you've ever poured ink on top of a snare drum and smacked the drum and watched the ink explode off of the top, that's kind of how the splotches are reacting now, angrily and in pain. And you see this creature stumble, disoriented and confused and hurt. Seir, it's your turn.
When Yinghe calls out to Xainan with a no, to wait, to pause, Seir feels that resonance, and then suddenly in his mind's eye, he is a child again, celebrating a birthday, taken to a deep, beautiful forest, leaves of jade. And he remembers walking a path with Sing and looking over a brink and noticing two great creatures facing off. What feels like no distance and yet a lifetime between the both of them, as a dead prey falls between the both of them, and a wolf that snarls and a bear that lumbers forward, gauging what one is to do. And there's a moment in Seir's mind when he remembers this moment, remembering Artemis's lessons about the choices that even living creatures must make. Is the effort of injury worth the prey? Is harmony possible when hunger is at stake? And I think there's a moment where Seir sees the marred face of this creature shot by Xainan, black blood oozing down, marring that scar, and Seir remembers that bear looked marred, that bear looked battle hardened, just like this creature. And Seir's inner world pauses in bullet time, processing the violence that had just unleashed from Xainan, and the path we now have to walk, the actions I now have to take to protect Nova, to secure this place. Lumièra is gone. I have to secure this place. I am the wolf now. And I have to choose if I'm going to bite back against this bear, or maybe find harmony, but maybe harmony's out the fucking window now. Fuck. And there's that final image of them, of what actually happened in that memory of the bear and the wolf splitting this meal, but that feels like a far off option now. Shit. And what I would like to do as Seir is, this creature is thrashing, right, because of the reverberating sound.
Yes, and the bullet in its head.
And the bullet in its head. I think Seir is, because we're in such an enclosed space, there's a voice in his mind of Artemis warning about enclosed spaces. We feel the hammered moon necklace jingle as he runs up the side of this chamber. What I would like to do is to try and get this creature to focus on me.
Oh, to target
so that,
you. Okay.
Because otherwise it'll thrash at everyone and we're all fucked. So I'm trying to kind of like almost broaden the space in this very, very small chamber by making it focus on me.
That's a skill check. I'm actually going to say this is a charm check.
Sure.
Our first charm roll. Yeah.
From Seir, my lowest stat.
You do not have situational advantage.
You
are not getting assistance from another character in this situation. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power to draw its attention?
I would like to use the crescent blades.
Okay.
Blade, because it's just patience. And I think what Seir does is flick his tail to slap against the metal of patience to create a jingling sound in this chamber to make it echo like a bell.
Okay, I like that a lot. Would you like to burn any resources?
No, we cannot.
Okay, perfect. So that is 2d20. What is your charm?
8.
And what'd you say? An 8?
An
That's pretty
8.
good. Oh no, that's bad. Yeah, an 8.
That's bad.
Yeah,
I'm like, Connie, stop.
all right, looking for 8 and under. Tell me how many successes you get.
1 success, 7 and 18.
1 success. Okay, so you slam the end of your tail against this crescent blade, making a noise that echoes all over this chamber, trying to draw this creature's attention. Do you also shout at it to make yourself a big, moving, loud target? What do you say?
Yeah. I think Seir like runs up the side. He shares like a meaningful look with her of unsettlement. He looks unsettled, uncertain, but he is acting, and he shares that meaningful look with Yinghe, and before he gets to the side of this creature, he slams the tail against Patience, and he goes, Hey, over here, big guy, come on.
With that 1 success, you notice it's still reeling. The ink blots underneath its skin are still like moving in these erratic, pained motions, but its head kind of swivels away from Xainan's smoking gun and toward you. And you see its big, lopsided jaw kind of tilt in one direction as it lets out a and it starts to lumber in your direction, its huge tail kind of swishing out behind it, slapping the cave walls as it moves. It does seem to be attracted to the noise you're making, but given its intention, you can tell you're not sure if it's waddling toward you in a violent way, in an investigatory way, or if there's something else in the way it's moving toward you. It pings something along your instincts that Artemis has helped you hone, but you can't quite figure out the shape of it without spending a bit more time to really look at this thing.
What are you doing?
As for Yinghe, they move like a silent, deadly shadow, not to fight this creature, but they turn around and they start scooping up your shit. They start packing up camp. They're like scooping your provisions back into bags, rolling up your improvised bedrolls. They're trying to gather all of your shit, so, as they say, we have to get out of here. I think it's disoriented enough. We just gotta grab our things and run. Good, Seir, keep leading it away from us.
You got it, Neela. Watch your arm! Watch your arm!
I'm okay. I'm fine. But they are moving a bit more slowly due to their injured arm. And now it's this thing's turn. Seir. As the monster... As the monster continues lumbering toward you, shaking, making that strange percussive growling noise at you, you notice that the ink blotch splotches on its body. They stop jerking in erratic motions, and they start moving in concert with each other as it seems like it's gathering its senses again, and the ink spots move and move. They swirl and swirl, and they expand over its body, covering its pale flesh like a tarp of pure shadow. And as soon as the last ink blots connect and black out the last patch of flesh above its snarling mouth, it vanishes. It's gone. It's not there anymore.
Shit! Watch your six!
Where'd it go?
Seir's antlers glow bright red. It is a siren that's glowing from bottom to tip of each of his antlers, as well as the bottom to tip of his tail. It bathes his entire chamber in red. He is terrified of what this means.
Do you continue banging your crescent blade and trying to draw its attention despite it vanishing?
Seir swaps strategies. I think Seir now crouches to a squat, and what he is paying attention to is, I don't know if this is this creature's attempt at shielding itself to run away, or shielding itself to ambush the most dangerous of us, that being Xainan right now. and the thing that attacked it, right? And I think Seir like lowers himself to look at the dust on the ground to see if he can see the movement. And I think there's a moment where he flashes back to a moment with Artemis in trading where he had to sit in a room watching sand move with Artemis moving, and he had to, and you see this older Seir mimic those foot movements through the dust to make as minimal disturbing motion so that he can see the dust properly. And I think he looks to the rest of Nova with a finger up to his lips to stay calm,
to actually be silent and quiet.
to be still.
Okay.
And when Seir looks across the battlefield to Xainan, finally looking at him maybe for the first time out of the gun smoke, Xainan's eyes, those glowing, piercing eyes of a hunter, are looking, scanning slowly. And I think as he sweeps across the room and sees you, you see something in Xainan that you haven't maybe ever seen. It is shocking to see his slitted eyes widened in fear. And as he sits there low, still, and almost unnoticeably afraid, you know, because you've seen it. You've seen Xainan Esch afraid once before, down in the loam of the wild sea.
And I think Seir shares that moment with you. And the heated blood within his veins begin to pump ever faster. We see him draw closer to you still, your bulwark shifting focus to you to be that first line of defense to protect you, to shield you from your fear, to let you know that he is here, that there's other paths that we can take, that I will find this creature and we will survive.
It's met with a hand up. Stay. As he looks and sweeps across the room, staying on target, hunting this creature that is lurking somewhere in this space that we were asleep in, that Lumièra was just in. And when it reappears, he will be ready like a coiled trap.
Seir, do you listen to what Xainan is telling you to do to stay in place, even though your instincts are screaming at you to do something else?
I don't think it's the choice that's happening to Seir right now. What's happening goes beyond that choice. Seir feels in this moment a reversal of the roles of when he unleashed an inferno upon Cove. Seir looks at Xainan, how he remembers Xainan looked at him through the dust storm and fiery embers of anger and bitterness unleashed upon Cove. And there's that moment where Seir is watching a similar fury rattle around Xainan, coiled like a viper, and Seir's just stunned. I stay in place not because I've chosen to listen to Xainan, but it's not because I've chosen to follow my instincts. Seir's shocked.
Seir and Xainan, I need you both to make me a defense roll. Xainan, you need to beat a 1. Seir, you need to beat a 2. Neither of you have
Great.
situational advantage. You're not getting assistance from anyone. Are either of you harnessing your tools or powers?
I can't use my blades for this, so probably not, no.
You could try to use it to hold it up in front of yourself, but it won't be
Yeah.
able to counterattack. You won't be able to use it to hit
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
fair. Yeah, I will be using the crescent blades defensively.
Okay.
I think I will spend my 1 adrenaline die.
Okay. Sounds good. So that is 1d20 for you, Xainan, and 1 adrenaline die. What is your adrenaline die size?
Well, Xainan's adrenaline die size is a D12.
Not a d20. That's fascinating. How does it feel as your adrenaline is rushing through your body, causing your pupils to blow wide, looking across this chamber?
He sits low in the fields of the lodestar studying, not even 15 yet, looking into the dark for the monsters that could spring out that he has sat there watching for night after night. And his heart pounds in his chest, and he wants to cry. But he can't, because the flock needs him.
Past and present align in perfect, terrified syzygy for you, Xainan Esch, as you scan this battlefield for signs of an enemy that has vanished, signs of a creature that will kill you, will kill your family. That's how this works. Right? Right? And Seir, you hold your crescent blade up to defend yourself. That is 2d20 for you. Why don't both of you roll for me?
No, that is a 7.
Okay, Seir.
15 and 11.
Okay, sad to share that you both will lose a hit point as... Oh my god. I'm so sorry, my camera died. That was strange. Let me try turning it back on. Oh!
Strange.
Here I am. I'm back. Okay, let me just take that
Just
again.
like the
From
creature.
I
You
know, I
vanish and
vanished.
reappear.
I sure did. Okay, I'm gonna take that from the top of what I said. Both of you will lose a hit point as you feel an unseen, invisible force barrel into both of your bodies. Seir first, you are being trampled by this creature, now unseen, over 1,000, maybe 2,000 pounds of pure flesh, claw, fin, and fang as you're thrown against the wall that you were trying to goad it toward and crushed underneath it. Seir, tell me, which bone snaps?
Break his tail.
Oh, okay, yeah. Your tail suddenly cracks, it bends, pain shoots up your nervous system all the way up to your antlers, that red flashes. And you are crushed against the side of this cavern. Xainan, moments after you see Seir thrown against the wall, you barely have a chance to try to roll out of the way or defend yourself when this thing comes trampling over you as well. Unseen, you are crushed underfoot. Unseen by its pectoral fins and its back fins, its claws digging into you, puncturing a part of your body as it steps fully on you. What part of your physical form does it stomp?
It gets all the way through the meat of Xainan's left leg, high up on the thigh.
Yeah, you feel a rock hard, sharp pectoral fin just lacerate deep into your upper quad and puncture all the way down to the bone. And then you feel like draw back out, tearing through flesh, muscle, sinew, and nerve. And you see your own blood splot onto the ground, tracking a crimson trail toward not Yinghe, not the two of you again, but the lake in the center of this chamber. And all of you see an invisible form slink into the water. The water ripples as it dives underneath the brackish current. Back to the two of you. Seir! Yinghe runs to your side, Seir, as you are crashed against this wall, your tail dangling limply like a snapped twig.
Seir has never broken his tail before. This is a new unfelt injury. He's always so careful. His tail is an extension of his instinct and of his senses. And in that moment and in that choice of dulling his instinct, dulling his senses in shock, but a choice he made, the lack of a choice is a choice in of itself. And I think Artemis's arrow is like reverberating in the inside of Seir's cranium, radiating red hot pain. And we see the lights on the tail and on the antlers flash in erratically from the pain, like wires and lights on a fritz. And we see him kind of like stumble. He literally stumbles forward onto his forearms, like after being smacked into the stone. And we see his tail weakly lifting upwards and unable to like move and be flowing with his movements. It's almost static and trembling.
Seir, you'll be okay. It's okay. Let's just get out of here before it attacks us again, or whatever it's doing. Let's just go.
Xainan. And he looks up and he says this so quietly. He's so weakened by the snapping of his tail. Don't, Xainan is. And he looks up at Xainan.
Xainan, are you okay? Just wait here, okay, Seir? And Yinko's gonna run over to your side, Xainan, where the pool of crimson blood opening up underneath your leg continues to expand, and you can follow this crimson trail all the way to the edge of the water, where now, in front of all of your eyes, you see, flickering back into existence and visibility, the monster. The black splotches now retreat back into their usual smaller size, revealing pale flesh once more, uncloaking it. And you all see it doing something very strange inside the water. You see, this pool is not nearly deep enough to fully submerge it. It's kind of half in, half out of it, and it seems to be rolling in the water, kind of like a pigeon mite trying to cover itself in dust to get mites off of its feathers. It's rolling and rolling in it, and as it lifts its head and water plumes off of its head, you see the bullet wound in its forehead begin to seal. Something about being inside brackish water seems to heal it, but it's not enough. It's using this water, the water now absorbing into its body. You see the level of this water beginning to sink. And now that you all have a chance to really look at this thing, you notice that it looks dehydrated, parched, with wrinkled skin stretched loosely across a lean and desiccated physique. Seir, you in particular, you see remnants of that battle-scarred bear, but also of that hungry wolf, its ribs showing, its desperate for food, it's breathing heavily, and it's alone, Seir. And all of you hear it go again, desperately braying out, its whiskers vibrating with desperate precision as it almost as though it's calling out for help.
I think there's a moment here where Seir's eyes, it's so instinctual. This is whether this is from the sharp, almost electronic pain that surges down his tail up to his tailbone, or if this is from some deep-seated feeling that is unveiling itself right now. Seir feels a tear kind of reach up to the tips of his eyelids and fall down past his cheek. It's like a wolf calling for its own kind, right? That's what this sounds like, this tragic, upset, like almost like a pitiful call of a wounded animal who's only seeking its basic needs. And there's a part inside of Seir, a frayed red thread part of him that sees this tragedy, that sees this doom, and pities it, that empathizes with it, that feels sorry for this creature. Shit. And he like gets up to his full height, still shaky, and watching it kind of like sort of like absorb this water and thrash a little bit in this tiny little space. I'm going to try again. I don't want to kill this thing.
Xainan watched it crawl to this hole and didn't let Yinghe come and help him up. He limped and dragged himself, following the blood, almost as if in a daze. And Seir, that wolf was hungry and afraid. Right? Anything squaring off against another creature with half a brain is also afraid. But Xainan's fear in this moment is focused on one thing. He holds his gun tight. He does not look at you, at Yinghe. He does not look for Lumièra. He walks towards this creature, standing over it. And Xainan Esch does not hold back as he stands over this hole, raises his gun, because when creatures get to survive, they can come back and kill again. And you see not Agent Xainan Esch. You see this man that has lingered in the dust here longer and longer. And he stands up tall, calmly, like the trained hunter he is. Not survivor. And you hear Seir, a warrior, knows the edges. This man has no edges, no boundaries, as he stands over this hole and fires.
Zai!
Seir, do you try to stop Xainan?
I don't think I can.
Xainan Esch, you stand at the edge of this hole, angling your gun down toward this creature, and you squeeze the trigger. You do have situational advantage as you have the literal high ground. You are not receiving assistance from another character. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
No.
Okay.
Xainan is here, plain, old, flawed mortal Xainan Esch stands over this hole.
Okay. It's just you and your rifle. You can use your weapon die, and would you also like to use your extra adrenaline die from taking damage earlier?
I will just roll the flat 3. Weapon
Okay, go for
and
it.
2 20s.
Go for it and tell me your lowest result.
It's a 5.
Okay. Are you kidding me? I rolled all 7s and 8s. That is wild. Where are you aiming?
He stands over the hole, and as this creature writhes, he doesn't even look for a target. The first shot down the hole is just, there is a creature filling this hole, and if it gets out, all he can think about is the pain in his leg, the sound of Seir, not even the emotional fear that more harm might come to Seir, but the chaos, the violence of surviving rings in his ears, and he shoots out of fear, because Xainan Esch is a man made of 1,000 decisions made out of fear. Yesterday he would have saved this pool, thought about what was down there. Today he just shoots into it, his blood cold.
There is a massive noise, a miniature explosion as your gun goes off again, and the bullet pierces its left fin, causing a black hole to open up against its pectoral. It lets out a horrible as it thrashes in the water, limping now, scrabbling at the edges of the rock, but it doesn't manage to find purchase, and it slides back in from its injury. And Xainan, when you squeeze the trigger, you notice how, well, alone you are when you do it. There's no whispering of ghosts, no supportive spirit at your side, no Ija's mantra or Sing's cherry petals here to guide you, or Doxa's voice calling you to protect her. None of that. It's just you and this gun. And though the terror rings through your veins, though adrenaline surges through your body and your heart beats toward survival, the violence of survival, this chamber, Xainan, this is not the bottom of the wild sea. This is not the darkness under eaves. This is just you, holding a gun, shooting a dying creature in a hole. Do you squeeze the trigger again?
He now sees that it's hurt. The fear begins to subside. The only voice he hears is his own. To shoot it. To kill it. He spent all of this time embracing the ghosts, learning how to walk among them, to love them, to hold them with tenderness just as they hold him. And to be alone in this moment doesn't surprise him. Because we see Xainan Esch, the man who survived the dust. The man who would do anything to survive. Choose the way that he has survived. Through violence. And he fires again.
I'm gonna take us out of combat, because this thing is not a threat to you, Xainan Esch. Perhaps it never has been. Not from the start. You pull the trigger again. Another bang rings out. And you shoot it. You hit it. The bullet lances through the middle of its body, and it thrashes like a fish caught on a fisherman's hook, falling into the water, splashing its black blood mixing with the brackish phosphorescent algae all around. You see its blood leaching into this liquid. You see other fish fleeing from it. You see where its desperate scrabbling at the edges of the walls have ripped away those translucent sea snails, broken their shells. Now, not just this creature hurt and dying, but other creatures in this pool hurt and dying from your bullets. Both of you hear a "Xainan, stop!" as Yinghe runs to your side and is grabbing onto your arm holding the gun.
If we don't kill it, it will kill us.
You're muted, Val.
Video is silencing me. Seir stumbles forward towards the edge, like watching all these beautiful, colorful creatures in neon colors be shattered by the shells, the blood oozing into the water, and he takes a look at what's left, and like he sees the violence, the destruction that's bleeding out here, and Seir just like really quietly mutters, "It's gone. No longer a threat."
This creature was already dying when it came into this chamber. You see the truth of this clearly, etched on the edges of your finely honed instincts, Seir. And now, inside a puddle of its own blood, its fins exposed on the sides of its neck, it's drowning in its own blood at this point, lying on its side, kind of thrashing there, the water bubbling around it, braying still with its final breaths. As it's reaching upward, trying to claw its way out.
Xainan sees a scarred, ruined creature and refuses to see the mirror in it, but instead sees potential. Food. Something to help survive. Because everything in this world is in Xainan Esch's mind. Kill or be killed. But the last time he was here, he told himself it was for Doxa. He told himself it was to find his family again. And we see now the truth. The man that Agent Xainan Esch was a mere band-aid over. The survivor inside of Xainan Esch, who would fight, kill, and eat, consume whatever he needed to stay alive. And here he doesn't have Doxa as an excuse. And that's what it was. We should wait until it's done thrashing.
Seir looks at its eyeless eyes. It hears the last echoes of a song he doesn't know the meaning of or what it's calling to. All Seir feels in this moment is a birthright, instinctual birthright that blooms in the center of his chest. In the same way he found and remembers thrashing against the rebar in his chest and seeing the face of his father, his maker before him, doom incarnate, and hold that peace and that moment so that it felt like it mattered, that it was for something, that there's a witness to the end of this thing. Seir holds that stare, what might have been a stare, holds that moment with this dying, thrashing creature, silently murmuring, "I'm here. I'm here."
The creature. Oh boy. Come on, Elgato. I'm just gonna wait for it to turn back on. Okay. Okay. Alright. I'm okay. The creature is now limply moving in the water, its breath coming in strained gasps through its gills, slowly its lungs inflating, then deflating, its head twitching occasionally, letting out a hissing and in that moment, Seir, though you don't understand its song, a part of you knows. It's calling out to others like it, to its family. But you don't hear anything else coming, and looking around at this space, there was barely enough salt water here to sustain this one, and it was dying on it still. You see the gouges in the sides of this pool caused by its reckless thrashing, and you notice other similar gouges, territorial marks, scent marks, around the rest of this chamber. No, this den. This was its den. And you were here. And Xainan shot it, and Xainan killed it. And now the creature, with its last dying vibration, raises its whiskers in the direction of the monster holding the gun, and it breathes its last breath. And we're going to end the session there. Thank you all for tuning in to that doozy of a half of a stream, to that episode, Arc 4, Episode 7. Wow, thank you all so much. Let's do some much-deserved introductions, starting with Valiant Dorian.
Hi everyone, I am Valiant Lovewinds Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian, or at also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing Doom Incarnate, Seir. He uses he, they pronouns. I'm passing it over to the monster with the gun.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kai. You can find me everywhere as Estella Van Ladris. And tonight, I had the job of playing my beloved Xainan Esch. Connie?
It's me, Connie. So, as a heads up to everyone, we will not be streaming next week, Saturday, November 22nd, as C and myself will be attending PAX Unplugged. If you will be attending as well, please come by and find us at the VIP table of the Winged Bull Tavern on Friday and Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will personally be running playtests of brand new God Killer mechanics that I've been working on all year with Evil Hat Productions. So if you are attending PAX U, please swing by to come say hi and maybe even play in a session that I'll be running for folks who drop in to the VIP tables. The Winged Bull Tavern is located in the Philadelphia Convention Center, right outside Beer Garden 1, which is their exhibit hall. As for the Saturday evening, the 22nd, where we usually stream, instead, C and I, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, will be paneling and running games as special guests at the Working Families Party's game night at the Philadelphia's Crafts Hall, only a few minutes away from the convention center. During this event, we will be discussing how and why we tell stories of resistance, then play an original game by Fiona Shade, designed for the Working Families Party about building unions and resistance. There will be free entry and free food. I know that's a big draw for a lot of people. So if you're in Philly around 5:30 p.m. US Eastern Time next Saturday, you can RSVP at bit.ly/demo-by-dice. If you want to learn more about Transplanar at PAX U this year, please keep your eyes peeled on our Patreon feed in the next few days, where I will be releasing a blog post about all the details of what you can expect from us at Philly. As for this particular episode, thank you all so much for joining us on this journey. I know that this was in some ways a quite heavy and serious episode. Of course, we are a dark fantasy series, and a lot of the things we discuss and explore can be intense, but especially when it comes to questions of violence. As we all know, I do believe that many TTRPG audiences are primed for an easy kind of thoughtless violence in combat, where players just get to fight and just kill all the enemies, kill all the monsters, right? Regardless of who or what they are, who or why they're there. But we will be striving to challenge that ease, challenge that often unquestioned comfort above the table here. Additionally, we're also challenging the often misogynistic instinct to, there's no better word for it, woobify, and kind of justify the missteps of very complex and nuanced and kind of exclusively masculine characters when the intention is often to show them making a misstep. So thank you all so much for tuning in to, I think, a very thoughtful and nuanced episode, as we strive for all of our sessions to be. And I'm always very appreciative when our audiences bring that nuanced lens, that complex way of looking at morality, looking at violence, with no easy answers. Because I'm sorry, friends, but if you came to this show looking for easy answers, easy heroes and easy villains, that's not us, and it's never been us. It's part of the non-colonialism of it all. So thank you. And thank you for trusting us with this story, and we will continue to trust you all to read our story in the way that it is meant to be seen and to be engaged with. We will be back with more of Arc 4 in the Saturday after next. That is going to be the Thanksgiving weekend, essentially. Saturday, November 29th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Twitch and YouTube Live. Thank you all so much for joining us for this Arc 4 stream. I cannot wait to twist the knife even more as the season hundles onward. In the meantime, you can support our show by joining our Patreon, joining and participating in our Discord server, making fan works if you're so inspired, posting about us on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Tumblr, rating our podcast on Apple Podcasts, buying merch from our merch store, and most importantly, telling someone else about the channel. Your friends, your family, your homoerotic enemy, your barista, your dog, your cat, your horse, your parakeet. Thank you so much, Transplay Nerds. Your mud skipper. That was the inspiration for this creature, was a mud skipper. I did a lot of I know, they're so cute. They're like Gobi. They're so, just Google mud skipper, they're adorable. And just imagine that, but big and kind of monster-like. Thank you all so much, Transplay Nerds, for tuning in to tonight's session. I will see some of you at PAX U next weekend at the Winged Bull Tavern for playtests of Godkiller and the Philadelphia Craft Hall for the Working Families Party's free game night. As for the rest of you, we will see you in 2 Saturdays, November 29th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time for the continuation of Arc 4. And in the meantime, we're going to be raiding someone really awesome, no doubt, and Shpisho Bijo. Use that raid message in chat. Hello, Transplay Nerds! You know what time it is. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we're collaborating with the Working Families Party, who are building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. You might be thinking, why does a political party care about a queer tabletop show? As it turns out, the Working Families Party believes in the power of fandom to effect positive political change in the real world. So do we. As a Transplay Nerd, you're no stranger to just how political our show can be and how our stories are never just fiction. In fact, let's take an action together right now by signing a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This cause means a lot to us personally as indie actual play performers fighting censorship, telling authentic stories, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. So let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay Nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay. Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today.